Bachelor terrifying moment. Ben Higgins' baby's heartbeat was lost. Bachelor Ben Higgins and his wife Jessica Clarke welcomed their first baby on February 12. As the new parents get settled into their new normal, they chatted with Ashley Iaconetti on the Almost Famous podcast where they shared all about Jessica's labor. They revealed that they had a terrifying moment occur while at the hospital waiting to meet Winnie. At one point, they lost their daughter's heartbeat. What happened? Keep reading to get all the details. Ben Higgins and Jessica Clarke share Winnie's birth story. Bachelor Ben Higgins and his wife Jessica Clarke are proud new parents. They appeared on the Almost Famous podcast which Ben co-hosts and shared all that happened during Jess' labor. The couple also talked about a terrifying moment that nearly led to an emergency C-section. Jess shared the story saying, "Her blood pressure dropped and so we lost her heartbeat for, 10 minutes. They flipped me on all fours, so I'm on all fours in my hospital gown, and 10 doctors come rushing in. It turns out this is, very common and not, as big of an emergency as we thought it was. But it was scary." Ben also chimed in and said that at first the baby's heartbeat was there but very low. So he didn't want to hover over Jess, so he tried to watch a basketball game on television. However, things suddenly took a turn, and he looked up to see 10 doctors standing in the room attending to Jessica. He then recalled a nurse coming over to him and said to be prepared that they might have to rush Jess back to the operating room for a C-section. She explained that it is normal, but he should be prepared. Ben said he wasn't really processing it, and by the time it sunk in, everything was over and done with. Luckily, Jess changing positions fixed the problem and Winnie's heartbeat returned and all was well. They welcomed their daughter a short time later. Ben shared the news with fans. Ben Higgins said the first few days he woke up and felt like it was all a dream. However, then he saw his wife and baby girl, and it came back to him that he's a husband, a father, and he has a family now. The new family of 3 and their dog Waylon are soaking it all in and enjoying every moment. What do you think about Ben and Jessica's scary moment during labor? Has this happened to you? Stay tuned for more updates on all your Bachelor Nation favorites. Jamie is a nurse and a mom of boys whose true passion is writing. She loves reality, cooking, and paranormal too. Jamie has been writing online for several years. Title: Bachelor terrifying moment. Ben Higgins' baby's heartbeat was lost. Ben Higgins had always been known for his steady demeanor. Whether navigating the emotional roller coaster of The Bachelor or managing the responsibilities of his business ventures, he had faced pressure with an unwavering calm. But nothing in his life had prepared him for the moment he and his wife, Jessica Clarke Higgins, feared they had lost their unborn child. Their journey to parenthood had been filled with joy, anticipation, and love. After announcing their pregnancy in an intimate Instagram post, Ben and Jessica had eagerly counted down the weeks until they would meet their baby. They had meticulously decorated the nursery, picked out names, and dreamt of the life their little one would have. But at 24 weeks pregnant, their world came crashing down in an instant. The appointment that changed everything. It was a routine checkup. Jessica had been feeling well, tired, but nothing unusual for the second trimester. As she lay on the exam table, Ben sat beside her, holding her hand, both of them eager to hear the rhythmic sound of their baby's heartbeat. It was a sound that had reassured them during each visit, a steady thump-thump-thump that signified life and health. But this time, there was silence. The doctor furrowed her brow, repositioning the Doppler on Jessica's belly. Still nothing. The room, which had been filled with light-hearted conversation just minutes earlier, grew eerily quiet. Jessica's grip on Ben's hand tightened. He could feel the cold sweat forming on his palms as fear wrapped around his heart. "I'm going to get the ultrasound machine," the doctor finally said, her voice professional yet laced with urgency. Jessica turned to Ben, her eyes wide with unshed tears. "This can't be happening," she whispered. "Not our baby." Ben swallowed hard, forcing himself to stay strong. "It's going to be okay," he murmured, though he wasn't sure if he believed it himself. A moment of desperation. Minutes stretched into what felt like an eternity. The ultrasound machine hummed to life, and the doctor moved the wand across Jessica's stomach. The screen flickered, and there, on the monitor, was their baby, perfectly formed, tiny fingers curled into fists. But the heartbeat broke into sobs. Ben held her, his own breath coming in ragged gasps as his mind raced. He wanted to scream, to beg, to do anything that would make their baby's heart start beating again. How could this be happening? Just yesterday, they had felt their little one kick. Just yesterday, they had laughed over Jessica's cravings for peanut butter and pickles. Just yesterday, they had been so sure their future was bright. The doctor didn't speak for a moment, then finally said, "I need to send you to the hospital for further evaluation." "There's a chance," she hesitated, measuring her words, "that this is a false alarm." A chance? That was all Ben needed to hear. The longest drive. The drive to the hospital was agonizing. Jessica clutched her belly, whispering prayers, while Ben clenched the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. He felt powerless. His entire life had been about making decisions, taking action, leading with confidence. But now, all he could do was hope. Upon arrival, Jessica was rushed into an exam room, where a maternal-fetal specialist took over. Another ultrasound. Another tense moment as the room filled with the quiet hum of the machine. And then, thump, thump, thump. A heartbeat, faint but steady. Jessica let out a strangled cry, clutching Ben's arm as relief crashed over them. He felt his knees go weak, and for the first time in his life, he understood what it truly meant to be helpless and then to be saved. The aftermath, a renewed sense of purpose. The doctors explained that their baby had likely shifted in a way that made it difficult to detect the heartbeat externally. It was a rare but not unheard of occurrence. Still, the scare had been enough to change Ben and Jessica forever. That night, as they lay in bed, Jessica curled into Ben's side. He pressed a hand to her belly, feeling the reassuring movements of their child. "We have to share this," she whispered. "Not just for us, but for anyone who's gone through it." And so they did. Days later, Ben posted a heartfelt message on social media, sharing their terrifying ordeal and encouraging other parents to speak about their experiences. The response was overwhelming. Messages flooded in from couples who had faced similar scares, from mothers who had suffered loss, and from those who simply wanted to offer their prayers. In that moment, Ben realized something profound. Love wasn't just about the joyful moments, the perfect Instagram posts, or the fairy tale romance. It was about the trials, the heartbreaks, and the fear and choosing, despite it all, to keep moving forward. And so, he and Jessica did just that, holding on to each other and to the precious life growing within them, knowing that every heartbeat was a gift.